If we take an alphabetical list of the peoples who inhabit this planet, one of the first names we come across is that of the Abkhazians. Who are the Abkhazians and where is Abkhazia? These are questions, along with a myriad others, which this program is designed to answer. My name is George Hewitt, and I am Professor of Caucasian Languages at London University's School of Oriental and African Studies. I should like to invite you to join me on a journey as I travel the length and breadth of this gem of a land in order to see what treasures it has to offer. Поехали! So where is Abkhazia? It occupies a very small triangular-shaped patch of territory at the extreme northwest of Transcaucasia, or the Southern Caucasus, as the politically correct lobbyists insist on it being known today. Bound by the Black Sea, Georgia, the Great Caucasian Mountain Range, Europe's highest, it has its northern border with Russia along the River Pso, and stretching some 170 kilometers in a southeasterly direction towards Georgia, its Georgian border runs along the river Ingur. Many deem the Caucasus to be the dividing line between Europe and Asia. Others are not so certain. So am I standing in Europe or am I standing in Asia? Well, who can say? So let's compromise and agree that those people who inhabit the isthmus between the Black and Caspian Seas live at the intersection of Europe and Asia, forming a bridge between these two continents, somewhat sturdier than the one on which I find myself standing now. And so here we are on the site of the ancient Greek colony Pitsunda in the north of Abkhazia. This was but one of a number of colonies founded by the ancient Greeks. They founded a number of colonies around the Black Sea coast, and this part of the world, to the ancient Greeks, the ancients in general, was part of the area they called Kolchis. Now, Kolchis is well known to anybody who has read or heard about the myth of Jason and the Argonauts. This area is full of history. While we have been standing here, we simply knelt down and found this piece of pottery. It doesn't date from the middle of the first millennium BC, it dates from the first centuries of the Christian era, but this is part of a Greek amphora, or wine storage vessel. Why, it may be asked, is this area called Pitsunda? Well, we can answer that quite simply, but to do so, we have to move a little way from this spot, just round the corner to the coast, and we will see the answer at a glance. And so we have traveled just a few hundred yards from our previous site here to the coast. And you can see, growing all around me, some wonderful pines. This particular variety of pine has grown here for thousands of years, and in fact grows nowhere else. And so the name Pitsunda is obviously connected somehow with the term pine, which in ancient Greek was Pitius. And the Greeks called this area Pitius Homegas, in other words, the large place of pines. Now, from the object case of Pitius comes Pitiunta, and Pitiunta gives us Pitsunda as we know the place today. But of course, Pitsunda is primarily famous, and justifiably so, for being perhaps the most glorious tourist resort, not only in Abkhazia, but in the whole of the Caucasus. And It is easy to see why it has such a reputation with hundreds of thousands of tourists, primarily from the former Soviet bloc and now from Russia, if only one takes the chance to look around this most glorious of bays. Abkhazia, specifically Pitsunda, played a peripheral role in an event of true world significance. In the early 1960s, Nikita Khrushchev was on holiday at his dacha in the trees behind me. One day, on the veranda, he was asked whether he was aware that the Americans had nuclear missiles trained on various Soviet targets from their bases just over the Black Sea in Turkey. Apparently, he was not aware, but decided that he needed to take action in retaliation. He dispatched a number of Soviet missiles to be set up on the island of Cuba, thereby bringing the world the closest it has ever been to nuclear catastrophe. Nice to see you.
I'm glad we made it finally.
We've got to this point in the film anyway.
Yes, great.
Take a seat over here.
Yeah.
Chat about things.
Yeah. Well,
yes. Lord Lee, it's very nice to see you at long last here in Abkhazia, and I'd just like to point out that we're in the very centre of Sukhum, by the beach. This is a famous spot where elderly people gather, perhaps people who've been in politics or academics, and they like to play chess under a tree, giving some protection against the heat. So maybe we could have a little game while we're talking.
Right. You move as white.
Right.
Well, it's quite appropriate, as I am an elderly person that has been involved in politics. I should be sitting here. Now, George, I found out a little bit about Abkhazia before I came, but perhaps I should hear from you what you see as the most important problems facing Abkhazia today.
Well, of course, they had their war with Georgia in 92-93, and the country was long under blockade. It's still not entirely open insofar as it's difficult to get here. Investment is difficult to arrange other than with Russians. There's so much in the country to offer the outside world, and the outside world knows very little about it. We're already 14 years after the war, and the situation here has been described as one of no war, no peace, because although Abkhazians have de facto independence, they're striving for it to be recognized de jure. And we're making a film about Abkhazia, about the people, about the country, about the political issues, which we hope will help to resolve this by showing Western viewers what Abkhazia is all about.
Well, that's very interesting, because I shall be watching some of this film being made. But sitting here, it looks idyllic, and with life going on peacefully as usual. It'll be interesting to see the country and see the signs of where things are still needing to be improved.
Well, as you know, we're hoping to make arrangements for you to travel and see the sights and to meet people, including, of course, the President, so that you'll be able to gauge these issues more accurately for yourself. And I might take this opportunity of saying something I was reminded of just yesterday.
What's that?
Namely that refer to the beauty of Abkhazia. And of course, someone said, one of the poets has written here, that the beauty of Abkhazia has only brought its sorrow, which is sad to reflect upon, given all of the people over the years who've tried to control the country. We'll meet again, no doubt, towards the end of your stay and discuss your opinion after you've met your people and seen the views, and see if we can come to some sort of conclusion.
Perhaps it's my move now.
Perhaps it is.